I still firmly believe that we may have hit the bottom. But then again, everything is up in the air with how Trump is tweeting lately. So we're going to take a look at why I still think that we have passed the bottom at this point, and we might be going right back up. We'll have to see. But we're also going to be looking at Amazon, Nvidia, Apple, Palantir, SoFi, and Tesla charts. So if that sounds good to you, strap in. Let's go. All right. So let's start with the slide deck over here. That's right. We may have bottomed. That's what I think, right? But this right here, this could rule all. And I'll tell you what that is in just a couple minutes. This golden toilet right here could be ruling over everything. So first off, I got to say this right off the top of the bat. The trend of the market is still down. We can all agree that the market has absolutely been selling off and is continuing to be weak. Next. Oh, let me introduce myself real quick. I'm a random guy on the internet, but my name is Christopher Uhl. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where outliers like us save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, the deal is that we still have the 10, under the 20, price under the 50. The outlier trend template is still showing a direction that is pointing close to the Gulf of America, right? Let's be honest here. It is going down hard and fast. And the trend template, that has not changed at all. But we do have an S&P 500 buy signal inside of Outlier. We do have a buy signal here. Now, I was telling people that this buy signal really should be construed as a buy to close your shorts, but still, it's an active buy signal. So that gives me a little bit of promise. Also, if you look at this, right, the acceleration to the downside really peaked a couple weeks ago, right as we hit in this area and bounced back up, because I think the market breadth has a lot to do with this. Now, what is market breadth and what does it measure? So in Outlier, if we go to the watch list right here, we can see the bull list versus the bear list. Now, as of today, this is Thursday afternoon after the market closes. There are 71 new buy signals today versus 39 new sell signals today. Buy signals include things like Alaska Air, Brown-Forman Corp, Coeur Mining, Energy Transfer. We've got Fox Class A, Genmab, I don't know what that is, HDB, and then we got some sell signals like DigitalOcean, Duolingo has a sell signal. Oh no, the owl's not going to be happy about that. Robinhood's got a sell signal. Roviant Sciences and Revolution Medicines, right? So when we look at this list right here, how many stocks are on this list? How many stocks have buy signals versus how many stocks have sell signals? That's what we're trying to figure out. So if we go to market breadth, this will tell us exactly that. How many stocks are getting the buy signals versus how many stocks are getting the sell signals. And if we look over here, it really tends to be a very strong leading indicator of what the market's going to do. In fact, if you look at this bullish cross that happened March 13th, I was telling people, look for a short covering rally. On March 13th, that was the bottom candle right here. What happened? We had the bullish crossover here on market breadth, and then we went up after that point. We had a bearish crossover on the 31st. Yeah, the 31st, right there, right before things got worse. Now we have another bullish crossover right here. So I really think that we are leading the market with this. Now, what is market breadth? That's how many stocks are pushing the market higher. How many stocks have the buy signals? How many people are screaming buy, 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 buy? That's what market breadth is. How many people are screaming that? And that is how the market's going to move up. Right? We need the participants, right? Consider it like the S&P 500 is the general, and then these are all the soldiers who back up the general. If they're all screaming buy, that means they're all pointing north, and then the general is going to start pointing north. But if they all start screaming sell, and then they start turning around and going the opposite direction, what do you think the general is going to do? At some point, the general is going to realize he has nobody backing him up, and they're going to turn around, or the general is going to turn around and follow suit. So another reason why I think we may have found the bottom is that S&P 500 fear is evaporating. Now, inside of Outlier, we covered the fear and greed of every single stock. Every single stock we have a fear and greed rating for. So if we go to the SPY and then we look down here, this is the fear and greed score right down here. And you can see it did get really fearful, actually came up a little bit, got more fearful, and is now starting to go back up, meaning It's not getting more fearful. In fact, it didn't get that fearful. It didn't max it out. It goes from 0 to 100, and the max right here was actually at 27. So it wasn't an extreme fear just yet. It was still at 27 out of 100. And now it's up to 28. Not a big move just yet, but still, this is what my thought is that we have hit the bottom in the market. Now, if we look a week ago, so last Friday when I recorded this was the 11th. Where were we at on the 11th here? Basically flat. We're basically flat over the past week. Now, one thing you'll notice is that these boxes down here, we call those outlier blocks. We call those outlier blocks. So real quick, what is outlier and how does it work? Well, old Uncle Warren used to say, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Outlier shows you if investors are acting irrationally fearful or greedy and by how much, allowing you to get into the stock before the outlier move happens. And if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, you can save 64% on Outlier, which is just 82 cents a day. And we have our huge upgrade 3.0 that comes out Monday, tomorrow, the time you're watching this, tomorrow. And if you're on the monthly plan, you can upgrade with just one click. Now, the outlier blocks that I'm seeing are really interesting to me. We have a double outlier block down here. Double outlier blocks provide support and resistance. And when you double them, that's even more support and resistance. Now, the further back they go, the stronger they seem to be. And this block was created in February of 2024. You can see the very first time that this outlier block was tested, what happened? It bounced. The very first time it bounced. What's happened now? The second time it came down to here, it bounced. Crazy, right? It's almost like I know what I'm talking about. Now we have this order outlier block, this outlier block. I think that these could help push the market higher. So that's the fifth thing that I'm looking at here is double order blocks on the SPY. I think that could be helping keep the market higher because those are areas with a lot of support, a lot of resistance, people who want to buy, But all of this doesn't matter if the wild card gets played, right? This could be the Uno reverse card. All of this doesn't matter because Donald Trump can sit on his golden toilet in the White House. The golden toilet is the epicenter of all financial economics right now. Of the entire world economy rests on his two butt cheeks sitting on that golden toilet. And his two thumbs being like, oh, yes, China is so stupid. I'm trying to make them an incredible deal, the best deal. Nobody's ever had a deal as good as the one that I've offered China, and they are so dumb. And because of that, they are not taking this, and I'm going to impose all the tariffs. Everybody who makes a deal with me, I will take that percentage, add it to China, and they will be done. China will be zero Aina. Yes, it will be gone by the end of the week if they cannot make a deal, a tremendous deal, the best deal of all time. Joe Biden could never make this deal. Hillary is jealous of this deal. That's how good of a deal it is. You get the point. If Donald Trump does anything weird from his phone, sitting on the toilet, all hell could break loose. We've seen that. We've seen it down and we've seen it back up. So that is the real wild card here. And nobody can predict for that. So I promise you some charts. Let's look at them. Let's look at Apple first. And let's go over to, in fact, let's go into Outlier. Let's go to AAPL in Outlier. And let's take a look at Apple right now. Apple currently sitting on a buy signal. Again, I would have looked at this as a buy to close my shorts. Now you can see just how fearful this got right down here, down to 3. It's still within a downtrend. You can see that with the red overlay and then adding the moving averages on. But the fear peaked at 3. But I'll tell you one thing. When the fear gets really stretched one way or another, look for snapbacks. Let's show you a couple examples here. Look how greedy it got up here, over 80. What happened? Huge snapback. The fear got down to as low as 31 right here. What happened? Huge snapback. And then right at the top, another huge snapback from 76. It's pretty cool how this fear and greed works, right? The further it gets, think of it like a rubber band, the faster it can snap. So Apple's still got a downtrend, but does have the buy signal. And even though it's in max fear right now of 4, a 4 out of 100, definitely think this might be snapping back. It might be. I'm not saying it's gonna, but I think it might be. Let's look at Nvidia, NVBA. And let's even zoom in on Nvidia real quick. We can see it's still within a downtrend, right? Nvidia used to be the one stock that was untouchable. And now I don't think anybody needs to be touching it because it is still within this downtrend. It seems to have found a bottom as well. The fear value got as low as 17 and has been pulling back up. It's up to 25 right now. And that's what you want to see. You want to see it getting less fearful, more greedy, and that could be the start of something constructive. Could be a start of something constructive. Let's go to the next one here, Amazon. Now, why did I pick these? These are some of the biggest mega cap, ultra giga cap stocks out. These are the most hugest, most tremendous stocks out there. And because of that, I want to make sure that we're looking at the ones that are going to move the market, because the S&P 500 is a market cap weighted index. So we need to look at the big stocks. So huge downtrend, still within the 10, 20, 50 pointed down. The outlier trend template's pointed down. And we can see it's getting a little bit less fearful, a little bit less. But really, this one may not have all the legs to it yet. May not have all the legs to it yet here on Amazon. Let's go to Palantir. Everybody loves Palantir. I don't know why Palantir is so the cool stock of the day. You tell me in the comments. Why is Palantir so awesome? Right? It did have this tremendous move up here. And we got the sell signal like 2 days before the top right there. Now, looking at on this side, we are within an uptrend, or 10, 20, 50s pointing north. We do have a buy signal. And we do also see the fear and greed there's no more fear. It's now in the greed. It's solid in the greed. It got as low as 13 out of 100. Now it's all the way up at 50.52. 52. The tech sector also showing a little bit less fear. So, I mean, of everything we looked at so far, Palantir looks pretty good. Palantir looks pretty good. But you tell me, why does everybody care about Palantir? I don't know. Granted, it did have this giant move up here, but that doesn't mean a giant move like that's going to happen again. So if you are a Palantir shareholder, just know where your risk is at. Know your risk is at. Let's look at SoFi. Another one of these meme stocks that people just can't get enough of. Everybody loves them some SoFi. And it did have this giant move, but it's also had a giant move down, right? Your 10, 20, 50. Still sitting on a buy signal right now. This could be considered a buy signal here. And you can look at the fear and greed heat map, really picked up a bit, but something happened the last couple of days where the fear started to spike back up again. Not really sure, but still, this is one that I wouldn't be buying even with your money because it's within that downtrend. And let's look at Tesla, the last one of the day here. All right, sell signal on Tesla, getting more fearful. The discretionary sector is not doing it any favors. Within a downtrend, bro, I'm telling you, Tesla may be the worst of the worst here, right? You saw a huge move right here. Right, a lot of people round tripped this move where they had a 120% up move that 100% disappeared. A lot of people round tripped that. And I'm telling you, you don't have to do this, right? You don't have to do this. Just apply the outlier trend template. Just subscribe to this channel because we talk about these stocks almost every single day. And I'm here to help you, right? So if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, I would recommend you click one of these recommended videos. And I recommend you have a fantastic Easter. I'll see you on Monday. We'll talk soon.